Hello.
Hello, James. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I think a good place to start this week is probably your game this afternoon.
Yeah, it was a good game. I went down and watched it actually, and it was Arsenal were on the front foot right from the go, really. And Manchester United never looked like they never looked dangerous at any point throughout that game.
Someone when I was to Palace the other day, someone said to me, as soon as they saw Casemiro at centre half, they knew that was it, kind of thing, and his legs are completely utterly gone. And when you got Casemiro and 38-year-old Johnny Evans at centre half, I think you're inviting a bit of trouble.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I mean, Trossard played very well. I mean, he got the goal. He did play very well, switching it from side to side. You know, he was dangerous. He did pull them centre backs around a little bit. The Manchester United goalkeeper, Onana, he pulled off a couple of good saves. To be fair, it could have been probably 3 or 4-0 by the end of the game because he did pull off a couple of worldies. But I just think Arsenal going into the next weekend need a bit of a miracle in regards to Spurs holding up their end of the deal.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, especially with Man City yesterday. 4-0 away at Fulham. Got Garviol, the left winger. I don't know how they're playing him.
Gabriel.
No, the City defender.
Oh, City.
Yeah. Josivil Gravovic. Garviol. He was on the verge of becoming the first defender to score a hat trick, and he gave that penalty up in the 96th minute to somebody else. He's not the penalty taker. That's his attitude. So. But yeah, for me, he's the sign of the season. So it's been a good weekend for Premier League football.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's been some great results. I mean, I did have Forest to beat Chelsea, and up until about the 80th minute, it was looking quite on. So it's been pretty good. It's a shame that Burnley have gone back down. I feel for Vincent Kompany. I'll be surprised if he's there next year.
I don't.
Well, I kind of do because I mean, there's not many times have players come out of the playing career and gone into management and
done so well like that.
Well, and he did at first, getting them up, and he was looking like he was, shining so bright. So I do feel from a little bit. I think next weekend as well, in regards to the relegation race with Forest and Luton.
It's done dusted now, isn't it? I say it's done dusted. It's a 13-goal swing.
It is. Yeah, there is a 13, 14-goal swing. It is pretty much done and dusted. But I think Forest have done incredibly well considering their point deduction to stay up. I think they've done phenomenally well as Everton. Yeah, absolutely. To be deducted points for a reason that others as well should have been deducted points, and yet to stay up, I think. Is
just to point out as well, though, if you gave those teams them points back, Luton, Burnley would have been relegated weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think am I right in saying Everton they'd be mid-table around 11th or 10th as well.
They would, yeah.
So,
they would.
It's the point deduction has done your Burnleys and your Lutons very well to let them hang on for as long as they have. But it could have gone the complete opposite, and we could have lost Everton, who have never been relegated out of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And Forest that, a couple of seasons ago when they came up and made 16 signings, everyone was like, Jesus bloody Christ, what are you doing here? So I think it's worked well both ways.
Yeah, no, I agree. Champions League this week.
Yeah, Dortmund.
That's all we need because that's where we started.
Right.
That's it. The first bit hasn't saved. I don't know.
I don't know what happened with my phone. Not a clue. I put my phone up, started speaking to it, and it just lost. Yeah. I think it's because I had my Bluetooth on. It was connected to my watch. I didn't know if what.
It's all right. It's all right. No, cool. I'll catch up with you in the week.
Yeah. Speak to you later. Bye.
What about Dortmund though on Tuesday night?
Yeah, you called it. The final is going to be pretty decent, I think.
So I mean, Bayern Munich conceded twice late on. This is probably more for James. James would probably have a bigger, better understanding of this. It's a question I saw midweek. Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane. Jamie Vardy has scored over 100 Premier League goals. He's won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Championship. He's won something else. He's played in a Champions League quarter-final. Harry Kane's played the Champions League final. But that's it. So who's had not what's the wording? Not a better career, but a more successful career. Kane scored all these goals. He hasn't got the Premier League outright record. He's had a record season in the Bundesliga. Not who's the better player, who's had the better career.
For me, I think based on the stats, it will have to be Jamie Vardy, simply because he's won promotion. Yes, he's been relegated. He's won the Community Shield, the Premier League, the FA Cup. He's also got the record for scoring in the most consecutive Premier League games at 14, beating Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
For me, it has to be Jamie Vardy. Although Kane has got the international side of things, it goes on to something I'm going to mention later on. But he's got all that internationally. But what has he done internationally?
Do you know what though? To be fair, like Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane as an individual is outstanding and has scored all these goals, and he's a fantastic player. He's done a lot for England, whereas Jamie Vardy hasn't really touched on England very much at all. However, what I would say is Leicester have won a lot of things, but Jamie Vardy has been the catalyst in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whereas Spurs haven't won anything, but then he has been a catalyst in trying to get them there. I think potentially if you could rewind time and Kane would have signed for City or United or Arsenal or probably not United, but a top four, it might have been different. We might have been talking about a world class kind of. He makes
won the Premier League this year or whatever.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The example I thought of then would be Bale. Bale did nothing at Spurs and then moved to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I think Jamie Vardy's journey as well plays into that. The fact that he was, 4 or 5 years before he won the Premier League, was playing in. It wasn't even the bloody National League.
Yeah. Robbing from B&M at weekends.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Stourbridge, wasn't he?
Yeah, the fact that he's gone from there, he's gone through it, he's then won what he's won. You have to tip your hat to the guy.
I mean, he's still a player. He's still playing. It's just like I say, who's had the better career, and a lot of people would jump at Kane, but I'm with you, James. I think it's Vardy every day of the week.
Have you heard the rumour about Vardy to Wrexham? What do you reckon?
I can see it. Why wouldn't he? Yeah, he'll I mean, he'll not get the money. He's on about 100 grand a week at Leicester, isn't he? But yeah, I can see.
He's coming to the end of his career. He can drop down a couple of leagues, still be
the man,
and him and Paul Mullen up front for Wrexham wouldn't surprise me that Wrexham get another promotion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. See, I watch a lot of Wrexham, and I don't think I'd put him up top with Mullen. I think I'd put him up top with Ollie Palmer.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's just now we're getting into niggly bits.
Do you know what? I can't argue with that. I think either way, I don't think it matters who you put him up front with.
No, yeah,
it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, isn't it? I think you'd still do very well regardless of where he goes. So hats off to him.
There was back to normal sport. There was a record weekend in the rugby Premiership this weekend. I don't know if you've seen it. So Gloucester playing the cup final next week, so they rested some players this week, and Northampton Saints beat them 90-0. And I just think the Premier League, if your second string team can't do better than that, like that is horrific.
It is bad.
14.
To be fair, though, it shows that there's I don't think that team necessarily value the development of the second squad. Like, if you've got an injury, and my knowledge of rugby is very limited, but I know that each individual kind of number represents a position, and that kind of on the team they do a specific role. They can take part in a specific role. If you've got 2 or 3 injuries in a row, then those kind of positions will be really, really exposed, and your opponents will know these guys are on the second team. They're having to fill in because X, Y, and Z are injured. It's not a great kind of only to have one time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what you have in rugby as well is obviously when you have the Six Nations, when you have the autumn internationals, that is when you bring these players through. That is predominantly what happens. You lose your international players.
Yeah.
You bring the youth through. So even if you do rest some of your key players, i.e. your internationals, you should still have a team that can compete at that level.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Unfortunately, I mean, 90-0 is just absolutely inexcusable at that level.
I used to play years ago back. I mean, we're going back 20 odd years ago, but when I used to play at a reasonably high level, I used to play with a couple of guys who went on to play for Gloucester. They went to university at Gloucester.
Well.
Yeah, I went on to play with these guys, and they were the dog's bollocks. These two, they were out and out. Oh, they were phenomenal, Thomas and Aled. They were brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
But I mean, Gloucester were a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Even up until a couple of years ago, they were there. But 90-0 is incredibly embarrassing. I mean, I work with a guy who used to play for Northampton Saints, Anthony Hudson, and he was there yesterday. He went down there for his birthday, and he had a good day out. I was going to say he had a fucking great day out at 90-0.
Yeah.
90-0 in Premiership rugby is embarrassing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a joke.
It really is.
That's your New Zealand versus Namibia type scores. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have that in Premier League.
No,
at all.
No, you really shouldn't. But I get it. They've rested players and everything else, but it shouldn't get to that stage. But Gloucester, they've got a good chance of winning a trophy next week. They've not had a fantastic season, so let's see what happens. Anything from your part of the world, James, with sport?
Well, we had I'm going to be going back to football, but we had the playoffs in the Championship, and my local team, Old Norwich, played one of your localish teams with Leeds today.
Yeah.
And I did watch a little bit of that game, and I would have been better off watching paint dry. It was horrendous. I mean, I went down for the Norwich Leeds game, then I watched the West Brom Southampton game.
You couldn't have got a worse introduction to Championship football if you tried.
No, you couldn't have done. If you were new to football, if you were, any of the listeners that listen anywhere else in the world, and I was to say to you, go and watch Championship football. The Championship League is the top. It is absolutely banging league for a second tier league. If you'd have then switched it on and watched that today, I would have to apologise because it was absolutely fucking awful today.
It really was, and coming from, when you've got the drama at Doncaster Crew on Friday night in League Two, and MK Dons Crawley putting up the highest aggregate score in playoff history.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to get to that. I mean, I said to you last week, didn't I? Or it might have been the week before. Doncaster getting into the playoffs was an absolutely phenomenal feat, considering 2/3 of the way through the season they were only a matter of points above the drop zone.
Yeah,
but to then go away to Crewe and beat them in their backyard 2-0, absolutely brilliant. I thought, here we go. Donny are actually pulling something out here. And second leg, they bottled it, and it's probably a fair result that Doncaster didn't get through to the playoff final because of how inconsistent they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice to see them go up.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it was unfair to say. I mean, they played. They
They were 2-0 down in what, 20 minutes?
It's hard to 16. It's hard to say they were the better team because they lost 2-0.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They were a bit shell shocked for the first 15 minutes, and then when they started to play football, they had. I mean, I was there, and I was at sort of one end of the pitch, and in the second half, I didn't see much action apart from in the 95th minute when Crew had a couple of throw-ins because everything was down Donny end. But
I mean, don't get me wrong, Doncaster shoe fight, they shoe spirit, they shoe people that they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But it's not a game of 75 minutes.
No, exactly.
90-minute game. So if you've lost it within the first 15 minutes,
you're out of luck.
That is kind of irrelevant, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. But it's set up nicely for playoff weekend. You've got, obviously, it's going to be Crawley versus
MK Dons.
No, Crawley versus Crew. Sorry, Crawley beat MK Dons.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You got Bolton Oxford as the other one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Crawley Crew. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the championship ones between the
Norwich League,
the four teams that
I think the non-league one's already happened, hasn't it? Is it Solihull? Oh no, who went up against Solihull?
What, yesterday?
No, last week. I'm sure.
No, Bromley.
Yeah,
Bromley. Yeah, they did, and then because Gateshead played in the lower league cup this weekend as well. Gateshead came in the playoffs and in the conference, but wasn't allowed to compete in the playoffs because the council wouldn't give them a 10-year lease on their stadium.
Oh wow!
So they've had to back out of the playoffs for League Two, and then subsequently today tweeted their praise for them winning in the cup final at Wembley.
Wow. And that's big money as well. Like League Two is a huge step from National League to League Two, as is from League to League One, and arguably bigger than any other step, arguably in terms of financial.
Boston have gone up from National League South into National League, and they've had to go full time to play National League. So to go full time and then get the security around League Two is huge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huge. So, but next weekend we will have the end of the football season. Everything that has been going on since early August has led up to that point. So hopefully results go your way, James.
Well, I'm still sticking by what I said months ago, and you all both laughed at me. I think that's going to go down a goal difference.
I hope it does.
Just beat Everton. That's all you need to do. Just beat Everton.
Yep, beat Everton. I mean, because I think the goal difference now is only +3 for Arsenal. So
yeah,
it's very, very close. And depending on what happens on Tuesday, I'm still.
It might not be relevant either come Tuesday.
No, it will not be. But I'm open. I would love it to go down a goal difference.
However, we've only got if Football League finishes or the football kind of Premier League finishes next weekend, we've only got less than a month, 3 weeks to wait till the Euros first game, Germany-Scotland on the 14th of June.
Looking forward to them Euros.
Yeah.
Have you all seen that new documentary / film on Netflix about the Euros at Wembley a couple of years back, England, Italy?
I haven't for the obvious reason.
Wembley, the final attack, or whatever it's called. It's, cool. Yeah, that's. I mean, as bystanders sitting at home watching it, you didn't realise all that was going on in the background. But
is it to do with the storming of the stadium?
Yeah. How people managed to get through, and you had 70, 80-year-old men that wanted to go watch it that were being pushed out of the way by a bunch of Stella drinking louts, and it's
unfortunate that what football is.
Well, yeah, seems that way.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch up next weekend, and then we'll take a short break going into the Euros. So we'll come back a little bit fresher new music, maybe a new background and everything. And we'll catch up next week, gents.
Take care.
We've got the
See you
boxing
later.
next week as well, haven't we?
We have Tyson Fury usage, so I'll be watching that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Take it easy.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sportscast podcast. As normal, you'll get us on our social media, Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, at SportscastPod UK. Join us again next week.